Welcome to the No Script Show, the new member of the Right Wing Cabal News Network. Uncensored, unapologetic, and woke free.
We hope. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, guys. I am good. I got my coffee. It's a lovely Saturday morning. I feel liberated. I feel good, like a whole new man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I saw your video last night, and it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? But it seems like everyone who has a South African podcast has merch except us.
I don't have any merch. I don't have any merch. That wasn't my merch.
But you've got everyone else's merch.
like every week, I'm like, okay, yeah. Shout out to Ronaldo. I mean, that's fine. We're not mad. We just realized we don't have merch.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think at a certain point, like if you can afford to, you must do it. I mean, people actually buy it. I mean, I really do like the Sec clothesline, and he's got other things that he offers as well, which is cool. I think Roman Kabinet's masks are amazing. He has the one where it's what's that one? Anonymous. So it looks like you're wearing the anonymous mask. And Germ's mugs are funny. So yeah. I don't know. Make a no script. Start easy. Make like a no script show mug. People buy that.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a whiskey.
Maybe,
no, like a tumbler. Actually, for you guys,
Whiskey,
like
whiskey glasses. I think that's my audience. To be fair.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, like we were talking the other day. Like we just do this for fun, man.
We all do it for fun.
Yeah, like
but we're all capitalists at the same time. So.
Yeah, we are.
But I mean, like when I saw the merch, I was like, "Wait, you guys are doing this seriously?" I was like, I wanted to text Ron. I was like, "Dude, I think everyone else is taking this seriously."
I don't think it's a matter of seriousness. I mean, it's just you know what happens. Actually, I'll be honest with you. So, like, let's take one of the YouTubers, Chris Wyatt, for example, right? So he started doing his thing out there and making videos and all that stuff. And eventually his audience actually started to beg him. Like they said, we want you to do super chats. We want you to do the membership. We want you to do merchandise. Like the audience starts asking for it. So you kind of just give them what they want.
Okay. I don't think our audience
doesn't. Our audience just wants to drink alcohol and visit us at a pub.
Well, maybe your audience wants to ask you. They're too drunk to remember. Like I forgot to ask him. I forgot to ask him about the merchandise. I want to get that whiskey bottle, man. And then, dude, you should totally make hats. But those hats that you wore on my show.
Oh yeah, fedoras and trophies.
Yeah.
The thing is, actually, you know what? Maybe we should, because ties. I think it's time that we reclaim ties and fedoras and trophies from the basement dwelling fucking virgins of the internet. It's time to reclaim them and make them cool again.
Exactly, and you know what would actually be also cool? I think this would suit you guys because you like the swag and you like the style and stuff like that. What if you did like tie clips or pins with the logo? You know, like I'm part of this club. You know, type of thing. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas.
Hashtag frat right. Frat right.
Hashtag yeah. So yeah, Ruan and I are part of a specific subset of Right Wing Cabal Network known as the frat right. It's a very special subset of the right. I don't know. Ruan, how would you describe life on the frat right?
I would say it's like a boys' club where we drink whiskey and smoke cigars. And we talk about
like
politics and current affairs in suits and cigars.
Yeah, like so your guys like your CEO or your founders like Barney Stinson.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. You're gonna get like a giant cut. We did like a giant cutout of him at JV's pub, just like this.
And you guys give like high fives and legendary, wait for it, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's us.
well, there you go. There you go. Even Barney Stinson had merchandise. Think about it.
I think actually the only thing that makes the frat right really sort of to the right is our love of firearms.
True.
Why is that even like a far right thing? Like I don't get
Please,
that.
exactly.
It used to be.
It's the mainstream. Look, let's be honest. It's the mainstream media that's created fear, and because every time there's like a random shooting in America, they paint the guy out to be crazy and like this weird conspiracy theorist who was in his basement making bombs and wanted to kill everyone. And it's always the same guy. Like he just doesn't seem to die. And it's ridiculous, man. Because like there are people like. There was a shooting, much like what happened in South Africa with that shooting in the church. There was one in America, right? It didn't get a lot of news coverage.
The dude that put that dude down in like 2 seconds
Exactly.
flat.
Yeah.
Nobody brags about that.
You came to the wrong church, partner. This is wrong.
That guy he saved so many lives, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's cool" for like 2 seconds, and then it's like. Another shooting happens. Like, see, it's evil.
Yeah, and it's always like the in the US, the amounts of guys that actually have legal firearms, like the percentage of people that actually use it for bad is
small. So
you can't even put a number to it. It's so minuscule. Like, yeah, man.
and that's the thing. Like, people don't realize. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, guns are evil" and stuff like that. But it's actually most of the people that use it for evil have gotten or obtained the weapon illegally. So, I mean, they're criminals.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I mean, look, if I can paint a picture of comparison. So within a week of each other, there was a shooting in El Paso, the El Paso shooter, El Paso, Texas. And that guy was genuinely like what the media paints as the average right-wing gun nut. He's like, I want to cleanse my town of too many brown people, and that was his whole spiel, right? Yeah. So points to them. That's a genuine, like, stereotypical thing of what you would expect a right-winger to be. Yeah,
Hail Hitler. Yes.
Yeah. So that was it. Cool, you got it right that time. Within a week as well, there was also the Dayton, Texans, Dayton, Ohio shooter. Who is a Bernie Sanders? Who is a Bernie Sanders loving and Elizabeth Warren voting far left winger? And that had about maybe 3 seconds of coverage in the media. So it's not.
Dude, I'll do you one even better. Look at what happened with Chad. Weren't these guys saying?
Oh, like, Chaz Chop.
Yeah, whatever it was. Like, we don't want guns and we don't want violence, but yet they flip and arm themselves to the teeth. With like body armor.
The irony of Chaz Chop is that it's like within a week they're like a warlord arose, like an actual warlord.
It was like fucking. It was Walking Dead. It was like an episode from Walking Dead.
Yeah, Chaz Chop, and on top of that, they basically created an armed, super strong borders region that had not cops but warlords are like. Okay, but you know what this is, right? You know what you've created here, right?
Absolutely ridiculous. And then you know what the part that really like confused me about Chaz is like when I read an article. Okay, so there's two things. So the first thing, which I did mention in my video last night, is they then sectioned off an area of Chaz and said blacks only. So it's like.
Really? Hold up, guys. This just sounds like segregation with extra steps between it. It's just this is just segregation with extra steps.
This happened. Like this actually happened, and then they're like, "Yeah, so we got bored.
Yeah,
so we're gonna go home because we need to shower."
Yeah. It's exactly that.
I was like, they just drop. They're just like, we're good now. We need to go home. This is not working out.
But like, what was it?
I miss my
The other
Wi-Fi.
episode, the one picture was like, please, we need the following, and all the stuff that they were asking for. It's like vegan friendly foods. I'm like, because initially when
wait a second, don't all vegans know how to make their own food? Isn't that the point of being a vegan to a certain degree?
I feel like the whole Chaz Chop saga was like the fever dream of an actual neocon, like of an actual hardcore right winger. Like I feel like that was his fever dream, and somehow it became reality because everything about that story sounds like a parody that somebody on the right would write. It's just,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't understand how people can quickly forget that Chaz was like, a left wing, like far left wing movement, you know?
Yeah.
So there's also violence on their side, but no, if you dare say I'm a gun fanatic, oh my word, you must worship the Nazis and want to kill every race. It's ridiculous.
I mean, here's my thing on that whole experiment. I actually have I have a similar saying to this as to what Conscious Caracal says, is that I actually have no problem with what they did. My problem is where they did it. If you wanted to run that experiment, there's tons of lands in the United States. Go ahead, find a little plot of land and run your Chaz Chop, whatever, as you want it that way. Don't take over public property that's, like go find your little plot of land, do Chaz Chop there. I'm totally okay with that. 100%. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, every civilization or community or culture has the right to secession and independence. I mean, that's why there's federal states. That's why we have states. Each state is different. We'll tell you were in there. And each state has its own bylaws and its own way of doing things. So yes, by all means, you're absolutely right. If you want to do an experiment, do it right. But don't take over and then complain when nobody gives you stuff. That's the weirdest thing. You want independence. It's like I think there's a comedian that said, I think it was Robin Williams actually, that was talking about Quebec, and there was a time when Quebec wanted to secede from Canada, and I think they still do, but they wanted to keep the currency. So Robin Williams was like, that's like an 18-year-old moving out, but I still want to get my allowance. Sick.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love. But by the way, speaking of secession, I love how California is always threatening to leave the union. I feel like the rest of America at this point is like, no, don't stop, don't leave, no,
we can't. No, okay, you must.
The fuck? You're doing us a favor.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go. No one's stopping you. Please, just go. You can
like
be
California
naked and run in the streets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
By yourself.
I mean, California. I mean, have you seen some of the pictures of Skid Row these days in California? It is a literal post-apocalyptic human encampment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Oh my word! Like here's the thing though. So I chat to Chris Wyatt a lot, right? So he stays in Pennsylvania, right? So I asked him, like, is it as bad? Is it as bad as people say it is? Is the media putting out there? And obviously, it's not. It's like he's in a nice neighborhood, or when I say nice,
Pennsylvania is okay.
Yeah, but no, he says the city is pretty hectic though. But he says that it's like that. Like obviously, he chats to his friends and his family. And they say like, nah, it's really only in the cities. And I think that's just a common theme. Like you don't really see it in the urban or neighborhoods as much. It's mainly in the cities. It's always in the cities. So just avoid the cities. That's pretty much it. It's not as bad. I mean, yes, people were rioting. Yes, people were getting a bit out of hand. Yes, there are naked people in the streets, but it's all in the city. So just avoid the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you even in New York, if you stay out of New York City, if you go upstate, everything's actually fine upstate. Yep. And I always tell people this, like people assume New York City is a blue state, and it is largely. I mean, look, whoever the Democrats nominate, like Joe Biden could walk up on the front lawn of the White House and shoot Jill Biden in the face, and I promise you, the New York Times will publish an article the next morning on actually shooting your spouse may be a good thing. Yeah, I guarantee you they will. Okay, that's how they're utterly in this man's corner. Okay, so yes, New York is a blue state in that sense. I was just saying, like they would, but if you actually factor out New York City and the rest of New York, it starts looking very, very red, especially in like places like Syracuse and Rochester. They're not red per se, but they're much redder than New York City. The only reason New York is a blue state is because of the population density of New York City. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I actually heard a really funny, I think it was from the Washington Post. They had an article and the headline was, gyms are now opening around the US, but what if you are not ready to go back? Don't fucking go.
Don't go.
It's like the school's argument here. Like the like everyone's like, oh no, we can't go back to school. We're all gonna die. And then it's like, okay. So first of all, no matter where you fall on that argument, the president did say, you will not be held accountable if you don't go. Exactly. So stop bitching. Like, you don't have to go.
You have the choice. You can have the choice. You can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of living in a free society. You get to choose what you want to do.
Yeah. It's like when we posted, I saw this, we posted, I think it was my account or the show account, where he said, are you looking forward to hanging out? Because on our platinum tier membership, you get to hang out with us at our pub. And somebody commented underneath there, sounds like a good way to get corona. And I didn't reply because I'm like, all of us there know each other. We are choosing this. We're not, Run isn't putting a gun to the back of my head and saying, dude, come to the pub. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm making this risk calculation on my own and saying, okay, I will go.
Yeah, exactly. No, look, I mean, I think we're all starting to realize that this whole notion of we're on lockdown to save lives is just not. No, you're definitely not saving lives at this point. I don't think, and that's highly debatable. And I know some wokies might be like, oh, how can you say that? My mother was sick and died of cancer, but they labeled it as corona.
I mean, look.
They don't see it. They just don't want. I don't know. Sorry, I'm really.
I mean, look. I have all the sympathy in the world for people who's elder, because people do have elderly relatives who have died of this, and so for you, I'm sorry for that genuinely got this, like, because it is
okay, maybe bad example on my part.
But for no man, don't worry about it. This is but for most of us, there is an increasing number of people who, as you said, it got labeled as corona. It's like okay. So an example would be
I'll give you a good example. Can I give you a good example? So
is it Herman Cain?
No, a friend of mine, right? She's from Zim, all right? And she was telling me the other day that she took an Uber, right? And the Uber driver told her that one of a fellow Uber driver or a friend or I don't know what of this Uber driver was shot, okay? Died from the shot, okay? And they put his death as COVID.
Because he had it.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a difference between because they're not.
But he died from a shot. He died from a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a big. So that's the thing. There's a big difference between dying of COVID and dying with COVID. My example would have been Herman Cain, the former presidential candidate, because the dude's 70 years old, has stage 4 cancer, and so corona didn't help, but. Maybe this is more an issue of him being 70 years old and having stage 4 cancer. Maybe that's he was there. Like maybe it wasn't the COVID alone. Like, and for me, it's an issue because I am computer scientist, I'm a data scientist, and I want accurate data. So that when people do this, it does actually personally annoy me.
So you're a data analyst, right? So have you tried to do research on COVID deaths and COVID itself, or?
I've likely looked at some of the research some people have done, but not so much myself. I haven't like compiled anything myself, but I might.
It's very difficult to find information. There's one website that Germ says you must go to, or everybody must go to. Is it Data Panda or something like that? I can't remember. I'll send you the link once I ask him. And apparently that one's the most accurate, because they're independent and they really do their stuff right. So
I trust stuff from like Johns Hopkins. I trust data from like Johns Hopkins. That I would trust. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Johns Hopkins University. I'm like, yeah, okay. This is a medical institution you can trust. Like, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't want to get into a whole debate about COVID, because also you'll get demonetized and
we're never monetized. Literally the only reason we live is because it's because of our sponsor pub. That's the only reason. Like, beyond that, we're basically screwed. Oh, by the way, if you're a double platinum member, then you get to drink on me or Ruan's tab, depending on how much we like you. So you know.
She's like, I never agreed to that, but okay.
You just did.
Oh man! All right,
yeah. So,
what do you guys want to? What else do you guys want to like? Let's try to piss off the woke a little bit.
Well, I mean, we can do. We usually have the politics segment.
I think
the US.
Yeah. Before we even get into US and all that shit, I think we did say we were going to talk a little bit about cancel culture, so maybe we should chat a bit about that.
The man himself. Let's have at it. I know you're tired of telling the story, but have at it. And
I am far from tired of telling the story.
By the way,
I will go on the top of Table Mountain and say it 100 times.
I think before we started, Urban Dictionary has a pretty good definition for cancel culture.
Yeah.
So it says, it is characterized by the response of an evil individual when they are shown to be wrong. They will call on their followers to report the social media accounts of the person or group that did the criticizing, rather than discussing the criticism or showing by evidence where the criticism is incorrect. Great definition from.
I never thought I would say this, but thank you, Urban Dictionary.
Yeah,
because it is Urban Dictionary is the root canal of websites. But you know what? I praise Urban Dictionary today.
Yeah, I also don't trust its definitions. But I would edit that definition a little bit, the beginning part, because they already assume that the person being attacked is evil.
That's Urban Dictionary.
Which is incorrect. The other part of it, just take that part out. The other part was correct. So yeah, like for those of you who don't know, I was recently attacked by the woke, and and here's the thing. Like, I need to make this very clear, because a lot of people seem to get confused. Yes, I'm a comedian, and yes, I know that being a public figure, I am subject to attack. Not everyone's going to like my jokes. Not everyone's going to like what I say. And for a while in my comedy career, actually most of it, up until recently, I wasn't very political at all. I talked about everyday things and all that stuff. And even in my comedy until now, I'm not political. So what happened was and this is a suspicion, because in the past, before what happened, I had only tweeted 2 things about Trump. Okay, and this now everyone of your listeners are like, oh!
No, really. I don't know if you've seen our audience first.
Then good. So I retweeted two things about Trump. The one was when he said that Antifa is going to be labeled as a terrorist organization, and then the other one was actually a journalist tweeting about Trump. So this journalist in America had taken some snapshots of the media, the mainstream media, and said, like, look at how they're trying to twist the narrative or everything's orange man bad and all that stuff. So then I retweeted that journalist and I said, finally, someone's speaking out about the truth. That's it. And I got so much flack for it from my fellow comedians. This one comedian tried to call me out and like, oh, Joe, you're a Trump supporter? This tells me everything I need to know about how you feel about my people. And I'm like, oh, let's just discuss this for a second. And then when I tried to like open that channel of conversation, they were just like, no, I've said everything I needed to say. I was like, okay, well, okay. So that got around a bit. And then, so now I'm doing a gig. I'm doing a gig for clients, and it's an online thing. They asked me to host a show and recruit comedians to come on the show and just have fun. It's not a political show or anything like that. Sure, some of the comics made fun of politics, but I didn't encourage it or anything like that. And it was good. I was a host for quite a while. And then obviously after that tweet, someone didn't like it. And they saw that I was on the show. And what did they do? They start commenting on the live stream saying, oh, a whole Trump supporter hosting the show. I thought they could do better. And I'm like, I'm sure people saw the comments, but nobody reacted to it. I didn't react to it. I ignored it and moved on with my life, right? The next day, I get contacted by my client. Do you know a Nikki Arson? And I was like, no, I don't. But then I was like, wait, maybe it's the same person that commented yesterday. So I will go and I check it's the same person. Then I do a bit of research. I see that she's on Twitter, had tweeted. This is similar to what's happened to you. Had tweeted. I'm trying to remember. I'll paraphrase.
I'm actually looking up her Insta just to see if she's at least hot. Sorry, I'm just curious.
I think that's a subjective thing, to be honest. I'll leave it at that. But she had tweeted any brands or companies, events, blah blah blah, that associate with this racist, homophobic Trump voter. Which, by the way, I'm not a Trump voter. Please block me, delete me, and this race. She said at some point. She also said, Egyptian piece of shit. And she said, block me because I don't want to know you or something like that. And then she said, also look at the last image, because she had images that apparently supported her comments, which didn't. It was a snapshot of my profile. It was a snapshot of my YouTube channel. And it was a picture saying "Yo Poos" in like, that's why she said, look at the final image, you know. So she was basically saying "Yo Poos. If you support me, Yo Poos." So I took a snapshot of that and I sent it to my clients and I said, look, I don't know this person. I don't know why they're sending you emails and stuff like that. But it's nothing. It's just one person. They wanted to avoid a PR nightmare. So I was like, okay, look, I'll say this as well. They also tried to go into my social media and see if the claims are true. They couldn't find anything. They said that we're going to replace you because you hashtagged DA and Ramaphosa must fall and all that stuff, and ANC must fall. And I was like, yeah, but that's not exactly like, that doesn't support what everybody had. I used this hashtag because they were trending at the time, like, you know what people do. And if you're gonna claim that is a racist thing, then flip. There's a lot of racist people on Twitter, arguably, and anyway. So I know people say like, yeah, but what the client did was wrong as well. And I'm gonna say this outright: I cannot discuss too much about the clients right now for legal reasons. And I'm going to leave it at that. So that should give you a hint as to what might be happening. Now with her on the other hand, it's defamation, and I lost the gig because of her. I was replaced. And this is the part that I don't get from the woke, because they're very quick to say, yeah, but why don't you go after the client? Yeah, but the video you made telling your story is perpetuating cancel culture. No, it's not. The video I made, which anybody can go and watch on my YouTube channel, which is called My Response to Nikki Arson.
I'm looking at it now, yeah.
I didn't say anything like, go forth and cancel her. Go forth and let's make her lose her job. I did not say. I told my story and I gave facts. And I asked some questions like, what did you hope to gain? You know, what you don't even know me, all that stuff. Like, that's it, right? And then I said at the end, you're going to hear from my lawyers. And guess what? She did. And so now this whole thing breaks out. Guess what she does? So I forgot to mention this, but I released that video on a Friday. I released that video on a Friday. All this happened like almost a week prior, right? So
I found her. Yeah, it's a pass for me, fam. Big pass for me, fam.
You know. Okay, so you know that she might find this. I'm gonna get to this a bit later, but in the story. But she might find this this recording, and she's gonna ask you to take it down. Just a heads up. Okay. So, but I'll get to that in a moment. So, on the Monday, she had deleted the tweet. Luckily, I had snapshot it. And that was like weird because, and I mentioned it in the video, I was like, if you believe so much in what you said, why did you delete the tweet? So in the video, once she watched it, guess what she did? Instead of apologizing like any normal human being would do, she retweeted the tweet. Which I
didn't know. I mean, I didn't know it as actually, I don't even know if that's her. There's a lot of ladies named Nikki Arson, so actually, you know what? I don't know. So I'm not sure if that's her, but the one that I found,
it's a slim colored lady with glasses. She will have in her profile Nikki Notes, because she also has a blog.
Oh no, this is some other lady. Oh, this is on Instagram. Maybe I'd find her on Twitter easier. Can we search somebody's Twitter? I'll look at it later. Anyway, but yeah, sorry, continue.
So anyway, fast forwarding a bit of time, I decide to reach out to her. I tell her, look, I'll drop the whole thing if you apologize publicly, social media wise, blah blah blah. And I did tell her to say a certain paragraph, which basically is what I kind of ranted about yesterday in my little rant, where I say like this whole thing about association is BS. Like if you're truly sorry about what you said, you will acknowledge the fact that just because I might be a Trump supporter in some way doesn't mean that I agree with all his policies, who the man is, everything he says. Absolutely not. I don't. And cancel culture is wrong and shouldn't be encouraged. That, in a nutshell, that's what I said. She declined, and I said, okay, well then we're going to court. So now I obviously don't have money to go to court. So I'm raising funds to go to court. For those of you who want to help my fight against cancel culture, you can find it on my YouTube channel.
We'll put the link in the description of this video and in the description of our podcast. In fact, I'm busy donating as we speak.
Thank you.
If I can find my card, but you know what? I'll donate it after the show and tweet it out.
So
okay, I'll donate after the show.
People will ask like, yeah, but why do you have to go to court? And here's the thing: if I don't go to court, nothing happens. Like it just proves to the social justice warriors and the woke people that we can cancel whoever we want and there's no consequences.
Get away with it. Yeah,
exactly. And that needs to stop. There needs to be accountability now. You messed with the wrong comedian. Because here's the thing, the moment you took that gig away from me, I had nothing left to lose, and you should fear a man who has nothing left to lose. So that's why the rant yesterday, everything about the woke cult, I am done. I am done with you people. And yes, I said, you people, deal with it. Man up, Buttercup, because I am done with dealing with your bullshit ideologies that don't make any fucking sense, because you flip-flop more than a flip-flop. Like, it just take a moment to think about that, all right? This needs to stop, people. You have no respect for humankind. You have no respect for your brothers or your sisters or anything like that. You eat yourself at the first notice of oh crap, that person. That's bad for the woke image. No, he's never woke. He was never one of us. You know. And then look what.
Yeah.
And
I actually found her actual profile now. I found it based on the description, and she has an apology pinned tweet.
Yes, I read it. It's absolute. It's disgusting, to be honest. And yes, I said that.
Yeah.
Because it's actually not an apology. If you read it, it's not an apology.
It's like I
know a lot about non-apologies, Joe. Trust me, I know something about non-apologies.
It's exactly what that lady did to you. Pretty much, you could be like the same thing. And yeah. So anyway, I'm going to court. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, like, when we were in discussions privately, she wanted me. So this is how ridiculous it is, right? So I said, look, you need to publicly apologize and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm happy to do those terms. However, I want you to apologize. Yeah, I know. I see your faces like, what? She wanted me to apologize because the videos I made are apparently perpetuating the cancel culture that I so much am against. And again, when I went on Gareth Cliff, yes, he did try and steer the conversation in a direction where I might agree with him saying, I'm going to go cancel her or whatever, because he stated that in his radio interview. But I don't give a damn what Gareth Cliff does. And if I was to sit there and be like, Gareth, can you actually not do that to her? He'd just be like, fuck off. He's not going to listen to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I laughed at it, which doesn't mean anything. I thought it was funny. And then he said something along the lines of, oh, it'd be a shame if she lost her job, wouldn't it? Like, sarcastically. And I said, well, yeah, it would. Because I do feel that way. I don't want her to lose her job. I have never, ever told anyone to threaten her, to go after her, anything like that. I don't even condone the behavior of people who have done it. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. But I understand that it comes out of anger. Yeah, I understand that it comes out of anger. I understand that you guys get worked up about it because you might know someone who's gone through it, and you're like, enough is enough. This is getting. I completely understand that, but know that I don't condone it. I'm not going to control you. If you want to go out and do it, then I can't control you. But I don't condone that behavior, because I don't believe we can fight cancel culture with cancel culture, which is why in the second video that I made, where I'm asking people to help me, I say, leave her alone. Leave her alone. No matter what. Look, let's play out that scenario where you complain and she loses her job. What then? Now she has a child that she can't provide for, right? And now she's without a job, but I'm still without a job. It doesn't fix
it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah. So let's move on from that mentality. The way to fight it is in the courts. So help me fight it in the courts. That's what we need to do.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because as far as this whole, again, I'll use the umbrella term, the right, even though, I mean, people like me and Ruan are very different in our lifestyles and ideology to, say, someone like, I don't know, Tucker Carlson, which isn't just, that's not necessarily a rip on Tucker Carlson. It's just that, the frat right are a very different subset of the right to most of the people on the right. So, yeah.
But not just that. I find it so strange that someone can take a tweet and then just know who you are.
Like, really?
Wasn't even my tweet. It was a retweet.
And that's the thing. And we are all freaking individuals. Me and Wotan get on really well. There are a lot of things we don't agree on.
I would hate to live in a world where everyone agrees with everyone. I would hate it. I would.
Yeah, can you
where's the open-mindedness? How are we going to learn? Like, I would love to sit down with Wotan and discuss Swana culture. I would love to sit down with Ruan and discuss. I'm assuming you're Afrikaans, so I could be wrong. I'm sorry for that. But
100%.
discuss Afrikaans culture, because I'm intrigued by cultures. I lived in Egypt for 9 years. That's what. And oh man, the woke talk about tolerance. You don't even know what I've been through in Egypt. You don't know what tolerance is. You don't know. And the fact that I was in Egypt for 9 years, I grew to appreciate other cultures. I used to hate the fact that I used to live there, but now this woke cult has actually made me so proud to have lived there, because living in a different country. So I was born in the States, right? But then I moved to Egypt when I was 9 years old. It was a completely different, like it's so different there. It's so different culturally, the way they do things, laws, everything is so different. And you learn very quickly. You either adapt or you learn some respect. And I learned I need to respect, even though I was bullied, even though I was hated on just because I was American, because it was after 9/11. It was the first 3 years after 9/11 were probably the worst 3 years of my life. Every day being scared to go to school, every day worried. I came home once with a bloody nose and a black eye, and I was so scared to tell my mom what really happened, because I was scared that if I did, I'd be labeled as a tattletale, and then I'd get even more bullies on my case. I lived in fear for 2 to 3 years. And it was eventually my dad that had a chat with me and said, don't be ashamed of who you are. You're American, be proud of it, because that's the truth. And if people have a problem with it, tell them to just leave you alone. And since then, that's what I've done. I respect the Egyptian culture. It's not for me, but I respect it. And I grew to like, okay, cool. When you're in Rome, do like the Romans, respect the culture. And that's why, like, when I come here to South Africa, I want to know more about the Zulus, the Zimbabweans, all these different cultures that we have here. There's 11 different languages. There's so much culture in this country. It's what makes it so beautiful. And I'm not preaching a rainbow nation or anything like that. I'm just making a point that if you want to really understand tolerance, then take a moment to get to know someone. Don't just
100%.
judge them without knowing them.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but the left wants us all to be in this conformed box.
That's what I mean.
And it's the same with all these different movements, like feminism. You
want a rainbow nation, but you can't have a rainbow nation if we want a great blob.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and like I've always been like, we need to celebrate each other's differences. No one is the same. Even someone in my own culture or tribe is different to me.
Absolutely.
And how do we progress as society? We take the best of everyone and we use what's good of them to bring society up. And how do we do that when we're being told, well, no, this doesn't fit here, so
but that's the thing. There is no tolerance, because they have their own version of tolerance. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that headline recently with the whole, what's it, pelvic, or I don't know, something about
individuals with cervixes.
Yes, cervixes.
Because and then there was this whole and then there was this whole debate over. And I'm like, guys, you are grasping at straws here. That like individuals are like, okay, now you're grasping.
Yeah.
They want tolerance, but they want tolerance their way. They have a different, I think it's clear they have a different definition of tolerance, because their people, in quotation marks, have been oppressed, in quotation marks, I understand the struggles of the homosexuals. I understand the struggles of feminism. I understand the struggles of Black, the BLM feminism, the LGBTQ community. Yes, horrible things have happened to them in the past. Absolutely horrible things have happened to Black people and all that stuff. But again, I always say we need to learn from history, not use it as a weapon. And these people are using it as a weapon, which does not make us progressive. It just divides us even more.
Yeah. I mean, how can you answer for things you've never done in your life? Like,
actually,
I mean, I see those pictures.
I'm going to stop you right there.
I see those pictures
where your life.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stop you right there. As a white man, and now that Wotan, you're a white man, you better learn this quick. Apartheid stays with them.
Okay.
You see those pictures with those white people, and then they chain themselves up and being like, I understand.
I'm still waiting for like
one,
my
you
wife
don't
and my
understand.
BMW.
100% you don't understand. And number two, what the fuck are you doing? You just look like an idiot. Just go home. And what are you helping? What are you helping? It's like those feminists that stand in the street naked and they just sit down there. Wow, and you've done a lot, for the
but that's the thing.
community.
I've interviewed on my channel, which, by the way, you guys should try and interview Mbulelo. He's a fantastic human being. He's a communist and a Marxist.
Commies with a burning passion, but I will try.
I know. But he's got an interesting view on life, if I can put it that way. And I enjoyed my conversation with him. But that's the point. Even him, and he is Marxist and communist, trust me. But he embraces capitalism. Like I said, he's got a weird view on life, but it's interesting. He even says, and he's as liberal as they come. Like he's left. Like he is left. He even says woke are a problem. I had Queen Wordsmith on my show, who is a staunch feminist. Even said on my show, woke are the worst. So even people on the left are starting to get tired of the far left, just like people on the right get tired of the far right.
100%.
Like, let's address that for a second. Like, there are extremes on the right. I'm not by any means saying there aren't, but I don't know. Is it me, or do they seem very quiet these days? Is it just that the woke are louder?
No, here's the thing about it. Yeah, there are extremists on the right, but they're not being mainlined by the media. First of all, and second of all, it's PSA Sitch did a great video on this. Basically, what happened in this progression from by the way, I'm glad that you say don't fight cancel culture with cancel culture, because my view is that there's two schools of thoughts on this, and whatever people like fucking Germ is in the fight cancel culture with cancel culture thing, and I'm in the bank. I don't agree with that either, but I don't have a particularly high opinion of Germ anyway. So that's the fight fire with fire thing. That's the scorched earth policy, absolute mutually assured destruction way. I'm in the camp that says, yeah, guys, there are constructive ways of fighting cancel culture, and so constructive way would be, I would rather, instead of taking my time and money to destroy this person, I'd rather give you my services for free. I would rather give you, Joe, my money to fight it in the court. That is a constructive, not destructive way of fighting cancel culture. As for the right-wing extremists, the reason they are quiet, and PSA Sitch did a good video on this, is that right now, they're all pro-free speech right now, because they do not have control of the media and the culture. The fact that we now go to work in T-shirts and jeans, as opposed to in the 50s where even if you were just a mail boy in the delivery room, had a tie and everything, tells you everything about who has won the culture at this point. Well, I'm an exception, but who has won the culture at this point, okay? The right-wing extremists are going to be quiet, and they're going to parrot points about free speech because it serves them now. And even though they're sort of on our side, technically, I have no doubt that, I mean, they definitely, pro-gun and all that, and I'm pro-lifer. I have no doubt that if tomorrow they had all the same power that the left has now, the right-wing extremists would pop up like crazy. They'd be like, boom, now they want to censor you. So that's why I think they're quiet right now. The censorious right do exist. They're just quiet because it benefits them to want free speech right now. That's
a very good point. That's a very good analysis. I think, look, I think I've said this before on other channels. I don't agree with any extreme version of right, left, authoritarian, whatever you want, whatever these labels are. I don't agree with any extreme side of it.
Libertarian extreme.
Like
there's some weird shit on technically some really extreme libertarianism is like, yeah, but I paid this 14-year-old. Why can't they be my child labor? I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Jesus.
Exactly.
This is why the Libertarian Party can't get votes, because you fuckers. And the worst part about the Libertarian Party, because they're my party when it comes to the worst part about the Libertarian Party in the United States is that they're such a complete fucking shit show. I mean, you got grossly overweight, naked guys on stage at the Libertarian Party convention. I'm just like, this is why nobody will vote for you.
Yeah, what is that? Come on.
You've got some great people. You've got some great principles, things like supporting ending qualified immunity, fucking destroying that debt that we've got, cutting that down. All great. My problem is that all your candidates, or 90% of your candidates, are a complete shit show. It feels like a con job. That's why people don't want to vote for you.
Circus. It's a freaking circus.
Yeah.
Look, I'd vote for John McAfee or Vermin Supreme in a heartbeat, or Joe Jorgensen. But the rest of it's like bucket head there, and you got like gross, sweaty,
this is why they eat themselves, because they it's almost in their minds like, yeah, if we let these crazy people out there, we can show that we appreciate everyone, but they don't realize it's actually damaging their image more than anything else. They need to go to marketing class or something. And you touched on germ for a second. I just want to say, and I want to make this clear because I've gotten a lot of flack. Like, here's the thing. For some reason, the woke have labeled germ as like this alt-right Nazi white supremacist, right? So all hell broke loose on social media when I went on his channel shortly after what happened to me. Okay, and that's when I got labeled, and it's one of the things I touch on in the rant as well. The whole association thing, just because I hang out with these guys doesn't mean I agree with them. And people didn't see the second interview I had with Germ, where he tried his best. I'll give him that. He tried his best to convince me that an eye for an eye is the way to go. And I stood my ground and I said, no, Germ, you want to do that. That's fine. He tried to do it now, like examples like, yeah, but if someone's coming at you with a knife, are you just going to be like, oh, wait 1 second, or
it's not the same.
And I said that. I said it's not the same, dude. Like that's different.
That's a bad example.
Well, that's what I said. I've met with him. We had the same conversation again. He tried to convince. I said, sir, dude, you're not going to convince me that in some situations, doing an eye for an eye is a good idea. Obviously, if someone's going to attack you with a gun or a knife, my life isn't in danger right now. Yeah. Like when she took away my job, arguably you can say, yes, your life is in danger because I don't have as much income as I used to. But luckily, I'm also a graphic designer, so I'm paying off the bills. I'm worse off now, yes, because for example, and I don't say this very often, but because I don't want pity, but when the lockdown happened, I had a business, Comedy Cartel, which was an events business. And obviously, as you guys know, during lockdown, there's no events. So that already in lockdown was tough. The gig that I had was helping me pay for some of the bills of that business. For example, my phone bill, website, hosting fees and all that stuff. Once that gig was gone, I had to make a choice. I was like, I can't. What's the point of having a business that can't operate anyway during lockdown and pay for it all the time? So I was like, I can't keep it up. I had to close it. And that's the effect that she doesn't realize that she had. And I put so much work into that website and so much work into building that brand. I had 2,000 followers within like a few months of doing that brand. I had a beautiful website that promoted almost every comedian in Cape Town, by the way. I had their profiles up. I had videos of them. I put a lot of work to promote comedians on that website. It was supposed to be the first Cape Town comedy specific agency for comedians, because we didn't have one, or we don't have one. We have On Fire, which is in Durban, and we have Whacked, which is in Joburg, but there's none in Cape Town. And I was working on that, and now that's gone. It's gone. Yes, most of it to COVID, I'm not going to lie. But again, she doesn't realize what that money was helping. And so, yes, you could argue, oh, but now your life is in danger. But like I said, I made a plan. I can make a plan. Now, Now with Germ, this is the point that I made in my rant. I like Germ because he actually has very interesting conversations on his channel. He's had Satanists on his channel. He's had interesting data analysis people on his channel. He's had think tankers on his channel. He's had so many different people on his channel, and they're interesting conversations. So that's why I enjoy him. But Do I agree with everything he puts out? Absolutely not. But you know what? I like having someone like that in my life because, hey, it makes life interesting. Sure. If you don't like that, then...
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And Wotan, I have no problem with you telling me, oh, Germ is an asshole, I fucking hate him. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't feel offended by that, dude. I don't.
That's good because I've never been the type of guy to pretend to like somebody just because we have friends in common.
But you know what? I respect you more for that. I respect someone who is honest and tells it straight.
I can even tell you why I dislike Germ. I'll tell you exactly why. First of all, reason number one, he's always sniping our guests. So as is tradition, I'm assuming you're going to be on his show next week.
Me too.
No, I'm serious. Like
Dr. Harley,
John McAfee, Dr. Harley, Herman Mashava. Like it's like clockwork. Honestly, go to our channel.
He does that.
But that I could kind of stand. My issue with Germ is that, and I know that he's an agitator, and you require an agitator. My issue with Germ stems from the fact that he is such a contrarian. I do not believe that he's genuinely a conservative. I think that if it was cool to be a liberal now, he would be a liberal. And I think that a lot of his takes on Twitter, which I get, he's a cartoonist, he needs to rabble rouse. A lot of his tweets are just really asinine, childish fucking shit. Like it's like he's a Gen Xer having his awkward 4chan phase out in public. It's just like I get that. Like the one that really upset me was when somebody said, my grandfather died of COVID. Please, people, just wear a mask. One, I understand the story could be fake. Two, I understand using emotional stuff like that isn't a good argument. But let's say, for argument's sake, it's true that they died of COVID. It shows such an act. You could have just ignored that tweet. It shows such an absolute lack of basic human empathy that you had to just dunk on that person in their grieving moment. That I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, Jim. Even though you're on my side, I want nothing to do with you. That's where my issue with him stems from. It's not that his content or whatever. It's that conduct that I'm like, nope, don't want any part of that. So,
and you know what? Yeah. I would actually agree with you on that. But again, like it's a level of tolerance again. Like it's
yeah.
Like I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't tell him. Like Germ, if you're watching, like we'll talk about it if you want. Like it's fine. And that's the thing. Like I know Germ as well. If he watched this, he would tell Wotan, "Come on my channel, let's discuss this." You know, and he would stay with his point of view, and you would stay with your point of view. But at least there'd be an interesting discussion for people to watch and be like, well, we agree with Germ, we agree with Wotan, or we don't, or we do blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He likes that environment.
That's what we should be doing. That's what's being like cut out of society right now. Is that we can't have
that's why I had the communists and the Marxists on my channel. Do you know? Yeah. Dude, the comments of that were crazy. Like everyone was hating on this guy. But it's fine because I wanted to prove a point that people with opposite ideologies or beliefs or whatever can sit down and have a discussion or a debate. And they don't have to be shouting at each other to say, well, you have to do or you have to be the way I am. That's not going to help us grow, you know? Yeah. And again, yes, there are tweets from Germ that I don't agree with, but I also see him like kind of a Trump in that way. Like, because Trump's also a bit of a troll.
That's why I'm like my stance on him is just like I don't dig him. I'm not going to have him at my braai. But if he so happens to be at a braai that because we have a lot of people in common, fine, whatever. Like I feel no desire to engage with him. I just also feel no desire to pretend that I like him. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, then I can totally respect that. But again, like I also think that I have a lot of friends that are assholes. Like Mikhail can be an asshole. Germs obviously can be an asshole, and they kind of wear that like a badge of honor. So, and I have a very long-term friend that I met in Egypt who is a great guy, Sharif. He's also like that kind of person, like agitator, bit of an asshole. So I'm kind of used to that personality. So I actually enjoy it. So that's me.
Cool.
Like I said, it makes life interesting when you have people that you don't agree with.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I say like I wanted to make my dislike of him why clear, and my actual stance is fine. Let Germ be Germ. You know.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Like let him be him. Like, I don't like what he tweets sometimes, but
it also goes to that attitude that you have, right? It's the same attitude we should have towards the woke. Like, even though I did a big rant, I did mention it in the rant as well. Like, maybe you're a byproduct of society, and if so, and I do kind of agree with that to some degree, then we kind of need you. You're like the reminder of the crazy, that okay, you're gonna get people, and we've seen it. People that used to be woke now going over more center, towards the center. So yes, to some extent, we do need the woke. But then what I'm saying is, from now on, you're in my world. You can be woke, but I want nothing to do with you. Like, I'm making that clear. Yeah. And don't now come at me, and just because I don't agree with your ideologies, think that you can put me in a box and tell me that I'm not entitled to have opinions because I'm not on your side. To that, I say.
And like I always say, like, there are legitimate issues that people can be running on, and it's always strange to me that, and this happens on both left and the right, is you will punch on these issues that are freaking retarded and doesn't make any sense, and instead of coming with legitimate issues, like, just come with something normal that we can discuss. Like with Black Lives Matter. Yeah. If police brutality is an issue, we need to look at it. But we don't solve it by destroying the police.
You're not gonna solve it by taking out the word master out of master bedroom. By the way, that has saved 0 black people. That shit just pisses me off. I genuinely wanted some police reform. I just wanted some sensible fucking police reform. I wanted the end of qualified immunity. I can tell you what I wanted. I wanted the ending of qualified immunity. I wanted a registration of police officers who have a history of brutality. I mean, we can get into George Floyd all we want. Look, the man wasn't a saint, but I don't think there's a thing. Last time I checked, counterfeiting checks, the penalty for that isn't death. And there were 2 other officers kneeling on this guy. But my point with that is, Derek Chauvin had, like, I think, 7 counts of police brutality before he had his run-in with George Floyd. This guy, and I'm willing to. He shouldn't have been there in that position. So those are sensible police reforms that we could have, like ending of qualified immunity, registration of people who have this sort of issue, and pricing them out of the market as police officers against the police unions. That's it. Those are sensible. I do not want you to rename master bedroom. It's not going to solve anything, and it drives me insane when you do that.
Yeah, I've got a theory that what actually happens is that they come with the most craziest idea. So when there's an idea that's just a little bit less crazy, we all like, actually, we'll go for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the ANC does that. They'll come with something like, or the EFF will come up with something, and it'll be like totally like, there's no way. And the ANC will just notch it down a little bit, like 2 points, and we like, thank goodness, someone's sensible now. Like, no, it's so stupid.
It is the most, like, when I read, like, even Twitter put out a post about about changing words or different words that they're now going to censor, in a sense of, like, if they see these words, it's going to red flag Twitter. And some, like, again, it was like the whole master thing, and what's it? Now you can't say landlord. What's the one for land person? Land or something like that. Master. I don't know. It's some.
Must be. Yeah.
It's some weird thing that just confuses it even more. What was that thing you commented yesterday on my stream about Jimmy? You said he was a
simp. He is a simp, though. Like, honestly. Oh, he's an accomplished centrist. Yes.
Yeah.
I said accomplished centrist. And I put quotation marks around the word centrist because Jimmy is no longer centrist. This dude has just gone full on authoritarian left. Like, I'm like, Jimmy, you're not a centrist anymore, buddy. Somebody like Ronaldo Jose is more of a centrist than Jimmy. Jimmy is just full on.
A lot.
Like, yeah. Also, I just like dunking on centrists in general. Being libertarian, right? I just like dunking on centrists in general. Because I think there's very few people who are genuinely centrist. I think a lot of people skew a certain way and they do not have the courage of their convictions to say, okay, I'm this. Like even like the tankies, the authoritarian left commies, like I actually respect them enough to say, actually, you know what? I'm a commie. I'm like, cool. I still think you're human garbage, but at least you have the courage of your convictions.
Exactly. But that's what happens when you start understanding people. You start like when honesty starts becoming a thing. Like, and I believe I've heard this quote before. The truth is going to set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. That is like, oh, beautiful, because that's how I kind of live my life. I'm going to be honest. Like, since I've started standing up against cancel culture and being a bit more open with my political views, I've literally told people, if you have any problems, like this whole thing about bringing up things from the past and all that stuff, if you have any problems with anything I've said, come at me. Come on my show. I'm an open book. I'm not going to hide. And I can explain everything I've ever put out. And I can defend it. I'm not a coward. I'm not going to be scared of the Daniel Friedmans and the Conrad Kochs and the Dylan Oliphants of the world. I'm not going to be scared of the Nikki Arsons anymore. I'm going to be like, if you come after me, be prepared to be called out with your bullshit.
Is Daniel still on Twitter?
He's just disappeared, bro.
He's on Facebook.
Since he got fired, he's just been it's gone. He's got no platform anymore because his platform was the fact online news. I mean, not that it was news, but
he deleted his Twitter accounts, both of them, and he only has as far as I know, a personal Facebook account. Which so what happened, my run-in with him yesterday was because someone posted, and I didn't know they were mutual friends with Daniel, posted about ENCA, something about ENCA and land and all that stuff. So I didn't know that this person I was engaging as well was woke. I did not know that. So I just said, hey, there's some stats here from AfriForum. Maybe you should look at it. Hey, there's some stats here from wherever. And so other people were also giving stats. And that's where I make fun of them in the rant where I'm like, they say, show me stats. And then when you show them stats, they're like, that's racist. Yeah. So, because that's what he did.
They like the comforting lies, as opposed to the uncomfortable truths. Yeah.
So then Daniel saw this feed and then gives his 2 cents on it. And I'm not gonna go into details because I'm Daniel's like, I know that if he sees this video or whatever, he's gonna be like, see, Joe's trying to cancel me. So, but probably I'll just say this. He came at me and I was like, okay, enough. That's what actually started the whole thing. Enough. I'm done with this woke lies, BS. I'm done. I gave him a really intense response. I called him out on all the BS, and then I said, "Come on my show. Come on my show." And then he said, "No, I don't really have a platform anymore, and my wife tells me I can't talk politics, so I'm just gonna politely decline."
My wife tells me I can't talk politics. That is some alpha shit there. That is so alpha.
But even when he was, I mean, like on Twitter and active and all that stuff, he wouldn't engage with anyone. Yeah.
No, but that's how they all are, dude. Like I've seen Conrad, like, oh, I called Conrad as well. Like, because someone on his Facebook page called Conrad out a bit because Conrad had a post about Gareth Cliff, and it wasn't nice. And someone said something, and then I called him out and I said, Conrad, why do you have to bully? Why do you have to insult, dude? Like, it's not necessary. And
how is that how you win debate? How do you win a debate by just, I mean, it's like that time with Wotan and being called white. Like, answer my questions. I ask you some questions, or I'm making a point, and then you come at me with nothing relevant to what we're talking about.
At no point did she ever address it. And she's never actually apologized. It was a total non-apology. Once again, I say, imagine if the roles were reversed and I was a man and I had beaten her sister or something, and I'm sorry I beat my wife, but in my defense, she deserved it, especially from the company she keeps. Do you think anyone would have accepted that apology? that consider that an apology? Do you think I would be alive right now? People would find me and hang me. Honestly,
yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. But that's the hypocrisy of the woke, and like the thing is, like with Daniel and or Conrad as well. Like I like that's the thing. Like he kept on saying, "Oh, get educated, read this book or whatever, the white fragility BS." I was like, he deleted the post, and then I was like, and then he unfriended me, by the way, on Facebook. And then I was like,
always an alpha move. Yeah, always an alpha move.
And then I'm like, okay, so you preach tolerance in your ways, but you don't have any of it. But then I still, because I have his number, and I used to book Conrad for my show. Like I said, I was an event organizer for stand-up comedy shows. I used to have him on my shows. I still extended an olive branch and told him, like, I gave him a long explanation of what I want. Like I said, I want to have a discussion. I feel like this needs to be spoken about, these things that you are saying. And let's just have an open, honest discussion about it. I'm not going to try and prove you wrong or anything, just a discussion. And then he gave me this long voice note playing the victim and saying how people have attacked him and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like the weirdest thing, in a very polite way. I'll give him that. It was like probably the most politest backhand I've ever received in my life. Basically, if you read between the lines, saying, I don't get paid to be on your show. But he said it in such a way that you can't really be offended.
Look, I might pay. No, I wouldn't pay them, but I would love. I'll tell you some people I am willing to engage with. I will happily debate Jimmy to teach him why he's not a centrist anymore, and I will happily debate Bianca, though I don't think she has the testicular fortitude to approach me.
No.
Yeah. So,
did you see her debate with Ronaldo?
No, I saw screen caps of it, and there's a lot of industrial lights and magic going on in her Twitter picture. Because wow,
that is so true.
And here's the thing. Okay, and I'm not necessarily just ripping on people's appearances, because I'm not that. Actually, you know what? I am that handsome, but I'm the reason I'm making a thing of it. The reason I'm making a thing of it is that I believe you should age with grace. Like, be like, like, fuck it. I'm a 60-year-old white woman now. Like, take that with grace and have that as your profile picture. When you have some lit up like industrial lights and magic, like, damn, I think she hired, like, I don't know, Disney's Imagineers to just get that looking great. God, so I'm like, fine, you're an older lady. You can just have yourself as such and carry yourself with the grace and whatever of being a woman of your age. That's all I'm saying. There are there's plenty of older women who are now in their 60s who carry themselves with the grace of their age, and they look beautiful.
Yep.
Trying to hold on to this idealized image is what makes you look bad. Like, embrace your gray hairs, lady, or whatever. Just
absolutely. You must go watch that interview. It's beautiful. It really gives you insight to the woke. But anyway, so I made a rant about it. Like I said, guys, my attack isn't on, and I want to make this clear because I'm worried that some people might see this video or the video rant that I made and think like, yeah, but Joe, you're so like, you're also attacking the left. And I'm not, because I've made it clear in that video. Like, I've had feminists on my show. I've had Marxists and communists. You don't get more left than that, a Marxist and a communist. So I don't have a problem with those people. I don't. Yeah, I don't agree with their ideologies. Feminism, I agree with, obviously, but I've explained this also on my show. I agree with the idea that women should be treated equally in terms of the right
real
to vote.
Issues.
The right to vote.
The real issues.
Exactly.
That's the thing about today when it comes to all these issues, is the amount of syntactic overload that each of these terms comes with, whether it's BLM or feminism or whatever. So feminism specifically, also even though I skew more to the right, I'm like, give girls the opportunity. if women choose to go, I'm not some women should be barefoot in the kitchen type guy. Like, hell, I was raised by my single mother, after my dad passed. So, I have immense appreciation for that. And I'm like, yes, go ahead. Be in the workplace if you need to or want to. My thing is,
some of these woke feminists don't allow that. So they'll say like, no, but a woman needs to be in the work environment. Like
that's
where they don't accept that a woman has a choice to be at home. They tell other women.
Well, they find it disgusting if they make the choice to be at home.
Yeah, like, and what the flip, man?
I mean, there was a news article somewhere, I don't know where it was, but somewhere in the US or the UK, and it was an article about a stay-at-home mom and why she enjoys being a stay-at-home mom. And these feminists just went nuts.
Yeah,
like, that's her choice. She can do that if she wants to do that. Like, come on.
Again, free choice.
Yeah,
but our choices.
Yeah. I don't think they understand what free choice is. But still, at the end of the day, all these things like BLM, this modern feminism movement.
I mean, with BLM, I don't think there's anyone that thinks Black people's lives don't actually matter. No, there's very few.
My point is it's a minority of people that just speak the loudest. Like, that's what I've found. Yeah. Most people that I meet, that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people, is they like us. They just want to be able to live their lives, do what they want. They don't want someone telling them what to do. But it's like this tiny 1% whose voices are like expanded as if it's this massive movement. And yes, they're big movements, but a lot of the individuals in those movements actually, they're there for real purposes, not for this, rainbow unicorn weird thing going on. So yeah, it's just weird.
I agree with that. That is a minority amount of people. I mean, look at, again, the whole argument I had with America, that it's only really in the cities, the majority of people.
Yeah, it's like half a dozen cities even. It's not even the cities. It's like half a dozen cities that get intense media coverage.
Exactly. But the problem I have is that when you start having a left, like journalism, for example, which is a problem here and in America, that lean more towards that lean more towards a side. When journalism back in the day, true journalism, which there are luckily still some really good journalists that take both sides of the argument, both sides of the story. And that is dying out, and that worries me, because now there are people that still think that the mainstream media is like legit and true. So now they start seeing people being angry about an issue, even though it's a stupid issue, and they're like, "Ooh, well, maybe I should start, being careful about saying master bedroom." That's the problem.
And the thing is, what I found with media recently is, it's opinion pieces. That's what it is. That's what I moan about News 24 about all the time. When you're telling me a man shot two armed robbers in a church, you're not telling me a man shot two armed robbers in the church. You're telling me what he did was wrong, or instead of just telling me a man shot two robbers in the church. That's what I want to know. That's what's going on.
And then they dissect it and they make it a white and black issue, and
man. It's
race baiting. That's all they do.
Yeah. I'm just sad Alex Jones is off Twitter, because he was amazing. Yeah. His craziness is just what I needed. Like, inject that into.
He's just so nuts, like sometimes I wonder, like, the things he must dream about at night must be freaking spectacular. Like, his imagination is like just on another level, man.
What are we at now? Like it's good. It's always a lengthy episode with a new guest and with me and Ron. Guys, can we quickly cover 2 tech topics, seeing as we are technically a tech podcast?
Sure.
The first one is the first one is Joe Rogan doesn't understand gaming and streaming, because I saw him dunking on gaming on the show, and I take this pretty personally as an avid gamer myself, as an epic gamer. Oh shit! Sorry, Ron, we forgot to plug JB's Pub. Say something about JB's Pub.
Well, I didn't visit them this week, but JB's Pub is kind of open, but not really, only to special guests.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, if you just want a place where you can talk about anything and what happens in JB stays in JB's, that's the motto, man.
That's it.
That's
Excellent.
like my kind of place.
Yeah, you are invited when you're up on this side of the wall. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did you guys see Joe Rogan dunking on gaming and gamers?
I never saw that. And
So
I
he
stream. Yeah.
Exactly. He makes this whole argument that like gaming is useless, unlike martial arts, because with martial arts, in 10 years, you'd be better than what you are, or whatever, in X amount of years, in 3 years, you'd be better than what you are. And in gaming, you're still that same person 3 years later. I'm like, well, first of all, you improve in your skill in gaming. And his argument hinges on only the top 1% of 1% of 1% of gamers actually make any money off of gaming. So his argument is any activity that you find pleasurable that doesn't make you money is a waste of time, and B, only a very small amount of people who do it get the money. So first of all, false. I do lots of stuff. My fucking reading habit doesn't make me money, but it's still not a waste of time. It enriches me as a person.
Or going to the gun range wastes a lot of money.
Yeah. And B, his other point was, the whole small fraction. False. You don't even need to be a good gamer to make money off of streaming. Have you heard of titty streamers? Have you heard of Alinity? Have you heard of Pokimane? None of these girls are particularly good at the games that they play, nor are they particularly funny, nor are they. I mean, at least Pokimane's kind of hot without makeup, but only kind of. But like none of these, and there are actual excellent girl gamers out there and excellently funny, entertaining, good gamers, but you don't need to be good at gaming to make money off streaming, Joe. So I don't know. Maybe it's because he's a boomer.
I like watching Expert Thief. I'm sure you must know him.
No,
he does a lot of.
I know Dr. Disrespect, who got banned.
He does a lot of GTA 5 thing, but he trolls. He trolls everyone. Like he does like challenges that the viewers give him and
really
stuff. Hilarious stuff. I love watching that. And that doesn't. He's not at all trying to like be the best like Call of Duty, rank 1 type of thing. No, he's just having fun playing his game, and I love it. Yeah. And then he reviews other games. And he checks out other games, and he's always trying to do something that annoys other live, like in the lobby, other live gamers. So it's hilarious. Like you must go check it out.
I only do sim racing, and the community in sim racing is pretty cool, especially because real drivers compete in it, or real actual racing drivers. And that's pretty much that's actually the only gaming I do is sim racing. But I love doing it. I do league stuff. So every Sunday night, every second Tuesday, and every Thursday, I'm racing.
It's even on
I do it because I enjoy it, man, and I stream it, and some people watch. Sometimes a lot of people watch. Sometimes one person watches. It doesn't matter. But I just do it for the fun, and it just makes you feel good, and you forget about all the other crap that's going on, and you just. And like Joe Rogan says that the 0.01% actually make money. Well, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I mean, if you're a martial artist,
zero.
You know how tough it is to become a UFC paid martial artist. It's not
even in his own industry.
Yeah, dude. So I was just weirded out by this tack he's taking. I'm like, you guys have to go watch. I was just like, he's like, but gaming is fun, but you don't go anywhere. I'm like, Joe, this is a weird argument to make, man. Weird argument. Yeah. Weird argument. Yeah.
And that's one of the gaming is one of the things that you can do just for enjoyment and not worry about getting paid, and you can do it in your own home. I find it difficult to see people doing martial arts, for instance, not wanting to go that extra level or try and get better and be like, no one goes there just to have fun and be like, oh, well, if I break an arm, it's fine. I'm just here to have fun. Like, people want to get serious in it. And same with gaming. You can do it. Yeah. I mean, with gaming, you can do it for fun. You can do it. Who cares? And some people just like to watch idiots as well play games. And that's also a lot of fun.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, oh wait, I wanted to actually say this. You guys must have Yanni on your channel. I'll put you in contact with him. He's also like a big tech guy. Like he loves tech. Like I had him on my channel. We discussed tech a bit. He's a cool guy. Also big gamer, so you'll have a lot of fun with him. But yeah, like that. The first when you said like, oh, he said 1% or whatever. That was the first thing that crossed my mind. I'm like, but that's true in any industry. Like, and actors who are like award-winning are a very small amount that make big, and I'm talking like big money. Like because that's the thing. You often hear of gamers who, you know, they did this whole tournament and they won like $2 million or whatever. Yeah, that is going to be a small amount of people that, because it's a tournament.
I mean, especially actors. I mean, honestly, actors, the big names, are such a small percentage of actors on this planet. Like the vast majority are struggling with life in any way and by any means possible. Honestly, the reason and proof positive of that is that how many actors there are at the Golden Globes versus how many actors there are on Pornhub. Honestly, the top gotta pay those bills somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Even comedians are the amount of comedians that make money off of what they do, and they do it full time, is a very small amount. And those that get syndication, or they go on a talk show like Trevor Noah or Jimmy Fallon, all those guys, regardless of how you feel about them, those comics that make it that far are very, very small. It's like it's so hypocritical for me to say that. I'm like looking at him like, you do know you're part of that 1% in your own industry, right?
Like Dave Chappelle.
I love
like,
Joe Rogan. Like,
I generally like him, but I just think it's
that was a very stupid comment. Like,
weird
I don't think
take.
Maybe he got a bit of flack later. I don't know, but
maybe he had one too many shrooms before the show. But whatever. The other tech topic is that it's that Donnie from Queens has made serious moves to ban TikTok. Your comments, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a TikTok user. I'll be honest.
Again, like, you should be able to choose if you want to use it. Like, if the US government feels that people are being spied on it, let people know it then. But you don't have to ban it. Listen, you're probably being spied on.
By them.
But if you want to use it, fine.
Well, I think the issue with me being spied on, right? So I understand that Americans might have a problem with that in America, but I'm in South Africa. If you're spying on me like I'm a comedian, don't do much like I live stream and write jokes and stuff like that. If you're spying on me, it's not you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, same with me. Like
government secrets or anything like that. So that's why I don't have a problem with it. I'm like, well, I got nothing to hide. So if you want to spy on me, thank you for watching.
Look, I mean, I don't like the idea of it, but the thing is, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, anything you're using, you're being spied on. We had this discussion with John McAfee, and that is, your TV is listening to all the new TVs have microphones in them. So they are listening to your conversations. I do cryptography training for banks, and one of the things we go through is how devices and AI learn from what we're just discussing in a room. And what we do is, in the start of the training, which is 3 days training, the first thing we discuss is a really random topic. It could be like nail clippers, for instance. And we'll talk about that for 10 minutes. And then on the last day, the last hour of the training, we'll pick someone in the room to put their phone on the projector and tell them to scroll through Facebook, and there are ads for nail clippers or nail products. Like, because we are being listened to all the time. It doesn't really
it's only
matter
okay when we
whether it's TikTok. like they say TikTok, and TikTok's an app on your phone, but your phone is doing every app on your phone is doing
already
that.
doing the spy for you, Jets.
Yeah, exactly.
My only comment on this is to Donnie from Queens, if he somehow hears this or sees this. Buddy, I don't think you understand the power of millions upon millions of teenage and mid-20s white women who need this app in their lives. They are going to...
You can start a revolution.
You're done, buddy. You are done. You are done. Okay? Taking away TikTok from teenage and mid-20s white women would be like, the level of ire it generates would be like if Denzel Washington married a white woman. Every black woman in America would get up on a fucking horse with torches and be like, that's the same level of ire that you're starting here. So you can do it if you want. You're the president, buddy. But I don't think it's going to go the way you think it's going to go. And that's my ugly comment. Yeah.
It's like you said, man. It's one of those things like, where do you draw the line now if we take away TikTok? I mean, Trump is doing also a big fight against Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, and also that's debatable. But I mean, my point is this: like, give people the option. Tell them, like you said, tell them what's going on. Say and provide your evidence, and say, look, guys, this is happening. This is what's happening now. But then you gotta also say and acknowledge that the NSA and all these other governments are also listening in. So, I mean, like, you're calling out an app for listening in, but you're also listening in. So it's like, do you really have any room to talk?
Yeah. True. Yeah. So, gents, we had 1.5 hours. We always do long podcasts. This has been awesome. We need to have you back on, Joe, but I think we need to start wrapping up, unless you gents have any sort of final thoughts or extra topics you want us to cover or whatever.
I will say this from my side. Again, if anybody listening to this has a problem with what I said, has an issue with what I've said, who's watched my videos and has an issue with what I've said, I don't mind you emailing me, Joe Emilio comedian, all lowercase, one words, no spaces or anything like that, at gmail.com, and saying, I want to come onto your show, or even just emailing me and having a discussion. I'm an open book, and I will explain my views and all that stuff with you, and I'll happily engage in a non-insulting or what's the word I'm looking for? Like just non-confrontational. Like, just don't insult me. Don't belittle me when you don't know me. If you're keen to have an intellectual discussion that is safe, neutral, then I'm all game for that. But the moment you start insulting me and stuff like that, I don't want to know you. It tells me a lot about your character. So like I've dealt with it enough, and I'm not going to deal with it any further. So that's what I'm going to say on that. And please subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, guys, please subscribe to his channel, or else I will die. I will literally die if you do not subscribe to Joe. So now my life is in your hands.
Maybe Joe, maybe you should quickly plug in your tattoo challenge.
Oh, so wow! I've forgotten about that, guys. So what I'm trying,
or do you want to forget about it?
I feel like it's a convenient thing to forget. It seems like a convenient thing to forget.
Yeah, like I'm okay. So let me say this. I've issued a challenge to my subscribers and my viewers to try and help me get to 5,000 subscribers before the 16th of August. That's about 15 days away from now. And I'm almost hitting 1,000K, so I don't think I'm going to hit it. But if I do hit 5,000Ks, or 5,000 subscribers, then I will get a tattoo chosen by the viewers and the subscribers. I will get it on my body. There are terms and conditions, but they're very reasonable. Like, I choose where and the size, because I'm not going to get a big tattoo on my chest that says Amadeus. That's just not going to happen.
Or like a penis on the side of your face type thing. Like,
it's my body, guys. Like, I have a say. I have a say. Like, it's fine. But ultimately, it will be chosen by the viewers, the design, all that stuff. And I hate needles. Like, people say, like, oh, you're just doing this because you like tattoos. No. If you watch my channel, you'll see I do not like tattoos I have one, and it was a mission to get. I cried like a baby bitch, and like it was horrible. I love the tattoo I have, but I said I would never do it again. So for me to do this is actually a challenge for me. It is something I have to come over my fears, and I'm not going to be enjoying it one bit, which is probably, like you said, I subconsciously forgot for a reason. So that's it.
Cool. And where can people plug your socials real quick? Because
just Google Joe Emilio, JOE space EMILIO. You should come up with my website. All my social media is there. You'll find me. Like, just Google Joe Emilio. You'll easily find me. I'm not a hard person to find, really.
All right, cool. Well, from our side, Ruan, you got anything?
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks for coming on the show. It was really cool, and I had a really good time. I definitely think we should do this again. I don't know, because sometimes when we do guests, even when we just do a podcast on our own, like sometimes we can get up to 2 hours, honestly.
Yeah.
we should really get a room like Joe Rogan has. Start really doing discussion.
I enjoyed this, guys. Like, I had a lot of fun, so thank you so much for having me. This was great, and I'm gonna have. Maybe we should do get both of you on my channel as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anytime, 100%.
Yeah. And for us, I will say you can find us at noscriptshow.com, me at WotanZA, Ruan at RuVDVault, Joe Emilio at Joe Emilio. And we have a Joe Emilio comedy. We have and at noscriptshow.com, we have a link to our Discord channel where you can abuse the hosts occasionally, and by the hosts they generally mean dunking on me, or watch Ruan stream video games, and chat to us after. It's like an extra after show thing, and thanks so much. And please, I will take it as a personal favor if you subscribe to Joe and you do some small donation. I know that not all of us are in the same income bracket, and it's been hard economic times, but I think this is a genuine good way to fight cancel culture. And I will be donating straight after the show, and I really hope you guys do too. I will add it in the descriptions and tweet out the link.
And share the story. If you can't
share the
story.
Yeah. Cool.
100%. Cool, gents. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. Cheers.
Cheers.